Reticulating sperms.
Brown Fairy, thank you for 31 months. Womasi, thank you for the 3 gift subs. Very much appreciated. You can't stop thinking of it because it's brilliant, Dave. Bricks and Mini 6. It's like a world that creates itself. Oh, I needed to crank it in the kitchen. I gotta go back and crank it in the kitchen. Womasi, thank you for the gift sub to Maddie Dog. Gotta go crank it in the kitchen. I spoke about it a little bit yesterday, but I haven't really played the new ones. I also haven't played the old ones. So I got a lot of work to do to care about the new God of War. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you see, I haven't played any of the old Onimushas. And I also haven't played any of the new Onimushas. I know. I know. I'm trash. I'm trash. I'm garbage. Well, I haven't played the old Bionicle. I don't have too much to yap about. I will say that I did kind of I lightly looked into some home automation stuff. Specifically, I looked at power plugs and outlets. And I learned that there is one GFCI smart outlet, but I think I will not be getting it. It's like $40. Which, if you want to do a number, is not great, right? It's multiplicative. But setting that aside, it's Wi-Fi only, and you can't control it. The only real function it has is it tells you if it's tripped, which is like, okay, I guess. IFA does not like smart outlets. Why don't you like smart outlets, IFA? I have no idea, Arfie. I have so much to learn. Too much weird shit to be putting in a wall. Outlets don't need to think. And I don't really care about shutting off one outlet. Well, I feel like there are many advantages and uses. But I hear you. I think that just a little bit of learning would dispel such fears, Fox. If you're really concerned about that sort of thing, it's actually pretty easy to sniff and or examine network traffic to see what's going on, who's talking to what. If you get smart devices that aren't based on Wi-Fi, then that also helps to mitigate that sort of problem. I don't want Wi-Fi devices because I don't want a bunch of Wi-Fi congestion. The more Wi-Fi shit you have, the more noise there is. I think I would be pretty much fine with any smart device protocol outside of Wi-Fi. I think we're conflating. So when I'm saying smart, I'm not saying this is really, it's a shit term. They're not smart. Okay. But like a lot of you are saying like, I don't want it to be smart. I don't want smart things in my walls. This is not, they don't actually have intelligence. I'm not talking about like Internet of Things. That's like a different class of stuff. I'm talking about simple devices that actually are, for the most part, pretty dumb. The smart part is how you use it, how you wire it up, and how you script it up in Home Assistant. So like all that's smart about like a plug, for example, a smart plug, is that you can control it. And that's basically it. And you can get readings. Like you could read how much power draw and stuff like that. So you can get some like data. But that's all there is. And it's not doing anything unless you use it. So you would connect it up into something like Home Assistant, and then you would script it up to extract the information that you want, build controls. So you now have something that can turn an outlet on or off, right? You've got something connected to it. So you could use that in combination with some other simple smart device like a presence detection to turn on a lamp. So, like, turn on a lamp when you enter the room, or turn it off if no presence is detected for a long time, or, just stuff like that. So, for the most part, these things are relatively safe, and they're not really... I mean, you have to watch out because there are things you need to do research. There's plenty of devices out there that are built and sold and require a cloud connection, require someone's dumbass app, etc., and so on. You can avoid those things. You don't have to use those. You don't have to get those. No, I've never heard of that pod, Dave. However, I can hop into Audio Bookshelf. Go to add, search Brad and Will made a tech pod, submit. There it is, tech pod. Submit. It is in my library now. How many episodes are there? Episodes. I said that so strangely. How many episodes are there? 341. I could download all of these to my server. I probably don't need to do that. I'll taste test this this podcast, see if I like it. I just love that I have this capability. I love slurping the podcasts up into the server. Brad of Giant Bomb / Nextlander and Will Smith of Tested. Oh, okay. Talking tech in a way that is over my head in the same way you do. Okay. Gotcha. Then it's probably somewhat up my alley. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. F2 is my most used F. Like a bong for your CPU. Billionaires versus dinosaurs. These are good titles. Fuck it, I'm downloading their whole entire library. I'll go back through it and find stuff that piques my interest. Yeah, exactly. All of my shit will also be local only, like IFA says. So I don't think, it doesn't have to be all that scary. It just requires a little bit of research, a little bit of know-how that you can develop. There's also like 5 of us at the least in the Discord who are very interested in this topic and perfectly willing to help others and to answer questions and so on for anybody else who's interested in this stuff. And down into my hole. Putting their podcast in my hole. They end the pod every time with Will saying, "Think of the environment before printing this podcast." In a public service announcement voice. It makes me smile every time. That's pretty good. I like that. But yeah, I would really like to have some nice automations. Dude, I was about to say this, if that's my probably number one that I want to do. I want to do adaptive lighting stuff. I want to also just have like scheduled lighting in terms of I'd like to have everything shut itself off so we don't have, you know, just power wastage. I really like the idea of monitoring power usage in general across the board, which is why I'm interested in smart plugs and smart outlets at all. If this was our house, I would go for a whole entire smart electrical panel, just right at the right at the source. Yeah, all that sort of stuff. This shit is a weird sort of war. It's kind of a war. Something that really surprised me was just the other day, I learned of the existence of this really cool, this is a smart home thing, a plug that takes advantage of the carport. I forget what the name of it is, but basically every car has this sort of standard port that's for mechanics and maintenance and so on. Gives you the car talks to you through it and tells you, you know, what the alerts mean and what's wrong and da da da. And someone developed a smart plug for that. You just plug it in and it wirelessly connects to your home assistant shit, and then you can pull info about the car, like fuel levels, any issues, any alerts that are on, trip distance, just whatever. You can pull a bunch of shit about your car, right? If it's an electric car, probably like charge, range. And that's existed for, I don't know, like a month? That thing has not existed very long. Volkswagen has already banned it. Like, why even is the thing? The thing that I'm talking about is an ESP home or whatever based device. Yeah, Volkswagen blocks Home Assistant integration. Owners want to know who owns their data. Yeah, this is the thing, man. We have to like claw all this shit back. We have to claw it back. It's crazy how evil of a company Volkswagen in particular is, for as like washed, or I guess I should say cleaned, their perception has been, I think, in the States. Because it kind of seems like every evil fucking thing that a car company can get up to, Volkswagen is like, we're first, we got there first. Oh shit, are there, Cercero? That rocks. Although, I imagine that we're not far from that just completely disabling a vehicle. If they're going to have that shit where the camera watches you and they use AI to try to figure out if you're drunk or tired or whatever. So I imagine they'd have that set up like a dead man switch type situation, right? So if the car can't report home, it probably won't allow itself to start. Yeah, I think I mistakenly conflated the VW Home Assistant thing with the plug thing. That's my bad. I absolutely thought they were the same thing. Maybe the plug thing gets you around this. You know? It might actually be the answer to this exact thing. Because frankly, I don't want a smart car in the way that they are doing it. I don't want a smart TV in the way that they're doing it. I don't want these devices to feel like they're owned by somebody else. You can't even get a TV anymore except for apparently one that isn't quote-unquote smart. Best you can do is basically just don't connect it to the internet ever, but it's still going to be loaded out of the box with a big pile of shit, right? What is the least smart television you can buy? Just buy the biggest computer monitor you can find. Best dumb television. I mean, we're way past that, Wamasi. That's the thing, is that TVs are super inexpensive now. And this is how they are making more money off of them, by loading them with ads. Four top dumb TVs of 2026 ranked. Amazing. Their number one, Sony A95L L OLED. It is $1,600. How big is it? Does the 95 mean 95 inches? If so, that is too big. Yeah, is this not a dumb TV? It is not. Like the best TVs, it has an included remote with backlit buttons to navigate its Google TV interface. Are these people stupid? That's their number one dumb TV. What about the next one? TCL QM8 QM85 OG QLED TV. I'm gonna guess also a smart television. It's not mentioning any sort of smart features. But to be honest, it's kind of hard to find this sort of information if they don't choose to just share it. This actually looks like a pretty good TV, honestly. It only has 2 HDMI inputs, but they're both HDMI 2.1. It's got HDR10 plus, blah blah. 4K. It comes with the popular Google TV Smart OS. There you go. I had to go find it somewhere else. Well, this site, gadgetreview.com, is stupid. Yeah, I mean, I know that Linus said, LTT said that Scepter, that one Scepter TV they reviewed is basically the only dumb TV you can buy. Scepter I don't think really makes very good monitors either. Scepter's kind of not good. Initially they're good and they fall off. They make a good impression, but there's a reason they're cheap. Yeah. There's lots of people asking for dumb TVs, trying to find dumb TVs, but essentially they just don't exist anymore. That shit's over with. To be honest, we're still trying to figure out what we want experience-wise without using something like Google TV. Because, you know, the paradigm that we've leaned on for a while, it's gotten, you know, worse and worse and worse over the years, but we've been using the Google TV because, you know, like if you have a Plex server or a Jellyfin server, you need some way to get that onto the television. And so something like Google TV is pretty convenient because you can just install the apps and, you know, wham, there you go. Problem is, it's Google TV. And now they have Gemini and they keep trying to force that down our throats, and there's just more ads, and it's like they're just ruining something that was kind of simple and nice. And so now we have to figure out, what is our TV interface? Is it a Raspberry Pi with like LibreLec on it? Kodi? A custom launcher? And you can do this on like a regular Google TV device. That's what I use. We actually still only have a dumb television here. As you might guess, it is very old. We have that and the projector, and that's all we have TV-wise. In fact, neither are 4K. But unfortunately, the era of 4K is also the era of the smart television. F launcher on a CCG TV. F launcher. Launcher. CCG TV. Launcher. Open source alternative launcher for Android TV. Built with Flutter. No ads. You know, this could be all right if I can install it on a regular ass Google television device. Projectivity launcher. Also, what's a CCG TV? I'll tell you what, I searched for that and it did not. It brought up CCTV, which is what I expected. Closed circuit stuff. Oh, Chromecast with Google TV. Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, that's what I have. That's what I have. Okay. That's what I've been saying when I've been saying I have a Google TV device. I have one that's the one that we're using on our dumb TV is just I think the original Google TV. And then the one that we use with the projector, rather pointlessly, is the 4K Google TV. Because the projector is not 4K. The projector is weird because it accepts 4K input, but it outputs 1080p. So launcher is interesting. It looks clean. I like that. Projectivity. Projectivity launcher. Transform your Android TV experience. Say goodbye to cluttered screens and intrusive ads. This looks nice as well. I will say that I have other how do I say this? I have other requirements that I care about that are part of my exploration of alternatives. Sabrina. Oh, Lineage OS. Yeah, I'm aware of Lineage OS, which is further along the lines towards like kind of the sort of thing I want in terms of like de-Googling as well. Like I know that for most people, what they watch, they don't feel particularly private about, but I really want to be like I want to control as much as I can. I want to just de-Google everything I can. Google Chromecast with Google TV 4K, codenamed Sabrina. An official method of unlocking the bootloader is not available, but there may be some unofficial methods available. Unofficial methods are not recommended or supported by Lineage OS. Use them at your own risk. An unlocked bootloader is required to install Lineage OS. Okay. Google TV 4K bootloader. I basically am, except for I'm not a weird fucking idiot. Too long didn't read. You can't unlock it unless it's been offline for years. Gotcha. I'm I'm reading this GitHub for Sabrina Unlock. There's a little FAQ. One of the questions is, can I go back to stock after installing custom OSs? And the answer is so not reassuring. It's written like this. Yeah, totally. Here's a scare quotes factory image I made in the style of Pixel Factory images. Yeah, sure. Totally. Yeah, you can totally go back to stock. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? They keep talking about don't OTA. I don't know what they mean by OTA though. They don't explain what OTA stands for. Oh, gotcha. It's crazy how companies like Google invested really heavily in open source at a certain point. And that's sort of, the history of Android, right? But as they've become more and more and more evil, which is just inevitable for every company in existence, the open source history, the past, becomes this nightmarish thing that they want to shake off. And they can't just outright do it because it'll do all this bad PR and whatever, but they're always working their way there. They're always doing something nasty to escape from their past choices. And it's just funny. Like, I was just kind of reading on this GitHub of the Sabrina Unlock what the deal was. And the intro here is kind of interesting, which reads, When the Chromecast with Google TV launched, a lot of us in the Android community were excited to see a proper successor to the Asus Nexus Player, a new Android TV to develop on! Exclamation point. Or not. When the Chromecast with Google TV launched, no kernel/module/U-boot source was provided, and the bootloader was intentionally made non-unlockable. Inquiring with Google ultimately led to the legally required GPL license releases of kernel/module/U-boot source code. Google released the U-boot source code for the latest Chromecast with Google TV build here, and it served as an invaluable reference to analyze how bootloader locking on these devices is handled. It's so funny. Like, it's funny that they still comply with some of this stuff while they are also actively doing everything they can to also undermine it. It's like one hand attacking the other. Because really, they don't want Android to be open source anymore. They want Apple's world, where Apple owns everything, right? Apple doesn't have to answer to anybody. Apple doesn't have any pesky users trying to, fucking unlock their devices or anything like that. Whereas poor Google, they fucked up with Android. It's crazy that Android is open source and there isn't really any way to separate it from Google because of various things. I don't have the exact reasons why top of mind, but I did read into a lot of this during examining Graphene OS and Lineage OS and so on, other devices that are based off of Android TV or etc. But I don't think Lineage does. I don't think Lineage is completely de-Googled. And I don't think anything Android is completely de-Googled. There's well, right. So there's multiple different angles of this. One is there's shit that you without Google's shit you cannot do, which basically cripples the point of it. It's got no Google nothing, but now you can't do anything. Also, there's a lot of shit in there. For example, I was just reading about this the other day where with a Lineage device, there's some process where it checks whether or not it's in kiosk mode, and to do that it's built in that it talks to Google. And so if you care about it communicating with Google at all about anything, that's something that's core to the system, where it'll fire off your IP address to Google. Stuff like that. There's just a lot of entanglements. I know that Google is actively working to try to make it as difficult as possible for there to be anything Android that doesn't involve them. But, a Lineage device might be satisfactory. It might be de-Googled enough for me, perhaps. Except for, then what's the form factor? I guess you can install it on like a Pi, right? Also the Shield. I heard though that the Shield is pretty crazy when it comes to telemetry, but with NVIDIA. Wow, it can go on a lot of phones. Are all these phones like jailbroken? Like there's a fuck ton of Samsung phones here. But I would imagine that they would be pretty locked down. Yeah, I'm on the devices page right now. There's a fuck ton. There's an on TV box 4K. I don't think I would ever trust this. I don't know about this. Okay, it's another situation where you need to unlock a bootloader, doodly do. I wonder how possible a lot of these even are from this list. You know, like they're listing everything under the sun that could ever possibly have done it at any particular time. But I feel like a lot of these, it's probably questionable. Okay, yeah. So that really is off the table altogether then. Unless you were able to get one off of eBay, I presume. It doesn't seem like regular old Raspberry Pi is listed here. Knockoff Pis are here. Could sworn I had come across something that lets you run Lineage on a Pi. Maybe I'm mistaken. Anyway, it's kind of fucking crazy, isn't it? That this is a thing that's like this hard. Shouldn't this be easy? Why not just Linux? Well, yeah, I mean, spoken like a true Linux person, there's no accounting for convenience, ease of use, etc. Like, the reason that you use something like a Google TV is not because you're like a big, huge Google fan. It's because, it's because it's a simple, easy to browse interface that organizes things in a nice way for a television, right? You know, you've got a simple controller, up, down, left, right, select button, bop, 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 bop. And also, you know, being able to install apps and things is nice. Yeah, easy access to different apps. Like I can quickly install the Plex app, the Jellyfin app, the whatever app, because of the Android ecosystem. Now, what I would really like is a more open source version of this where I could install other app stores, for example, like F-Droid or Obtainium, and use open source software. Yeah. And Kodi, we have been experimenting with. But I don't know, actually, Arfi. I don't have a lot of experience with Lineage. That's why I'm looking into it. I'm trying to figure out what our television experience should be going forward. Because we're fed the fuck up with Google. Now, I mean, maybe I just install one of these launchers. But I mean, this still, to me, doesn't feel like it's far enough away from Google, but this might be a good stopgap in the meantime to get it to shut the fuck up about Gemini. Get Gemini out of my face. Get the ads out of my face. I never ran Cyanogen. I can't believe I didn't know about these launchers. "2016 was bad. It was bad." Yeah, I would really like a fully, as close to a fully open source, free and open source television entertainment experience as possible. That's what I would really like. And that's probably Lineage OS. I just need to dig into it more. And I gotta search up Lineage on Pi. It's weird that they don't list it, and I swear I have come across this. I feel like a Pi 5 should be like 4K capable. Right? No? Yes, no? Okay. Certainly seems to come up. That doesn't necessarily mean... Oh, Constakang. This is what I came across. Constakang.com. So this is somebody's like side project. It's not an official Lineage OS thing. Here's my build of Lineage OS 23.2 for Raspberry Pi 4 Model B, Pi 400, and Compute Module 4. Note, it's not possible to OTA update from builds older than 2026-0128. Clean installation is required. How to create a DIY hardware power button. This feels like the way, though, right? Just like a nice little Raspberry Pi kit. And then just... How to install Google Apps. Download Mind the G Apps. How to install Magisk. Widevine. I will say this doesn't have a ton of info about like what the benefits are, what the performance is like. It's very much just here's the builds. But they do have a separate Lineage OS Android TV specifically build for Pi 5. Chromecast functionality is not supported on uncertified Android TV devices. Man. Why? That's so fucking... It's such a... Well, this is interesting. Enough to look into. I don't know if it's fully like the way to go. Particularly, it's weird to me that it's unofficial as far as the Lineage team goes. OSMC is a front on top of Kodi, isn't it? I always have been a little bit confused and haven't dug deeply into OSMC, I will say. It's also hard to find information about it that isn't slop. I did look at the Vero 5 though a little bit. It kind of seemed pretty appealing. Yeah, for sure, Psycho Boy. I'm just saying, like, I would like it better if it were something that had the, you know, the stamp of approval of the official team. That always makes me feel a little bit more confident about a thing. That's all. So, yeah. Lots to chew on for sure. Anyway, I should get out of here. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out as always. Sorry for the weird late stream again, but here we are. Here I am. Here I was. So, have a great night. I will see you next stream. Oh my god. Oh, goodbye.